Welcome to Thoughts with Evan. I'm Evan. I said that in the form of a question because I have thoughts today on questions. Now, one of the first questions that may come up is, why is Evan wearing a baseball jersey? Well, a little thing you may not know about me is that I love baseball very much, and the Orioles are my favorite team. I don't get to watch them a lot living in Kentucky, and they're in Baltimore, but I do follow them closely, and I love baseball. So just a little tidbit, has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but thought it'd be a fun way to frame talking about questions today. Now, a lot of people feel weird about questioning the Lord. They feel like it's somehow disrespectful, or you're not trusting the Lord when you do that. But I think it's actually very biblical, and I want to talk about that today. And one place you see it a lot is in the Psalms. Like, for instance, here's Psalm 13, verses 1 through 2. It says, "How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart all the day? How long will my enemy be exalted over me?" These kind of tough, sorrowful questions are very common in the Psalms, but what is also very common, which is important to the attitude that you should have when you ask questions, is what comes at the end of this psalm. In verses 5 through 6, it says, "But I have trusted in your loving kindness. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me." That's the New American Standard translation. But so he asks the questions, but it leads him to remember the trust he has in the Lord, the trust that through terrible situations, things that have happened in the past, he knows he can look back and he remembers how God has brought those things to good. I want to turn over to another psalm. Psalm 22, verses 1 through 5, I'm going to read. It says, my God, why have you forsaken me? Far from my deliverance are the words of my groaning. O my God, I cry by day, but you do not answer, and by night, but I have no rest, yet you are holy. O you who are enthroned upon the praises of Israel, and you our fathers trusted. They trusted and you delivered them. To you they cried out and were delivered. In you they trusted and were not disappointed. And this is a psalm of David, and hopefully that first line sounded very familiar to you. My God, why have you forsaken me? Now that is word for word what Jesus says on the cross. If we turn over to Matthew chapter 27, it says in verse 46, "About the ninth hour, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani? That is, my God, why have you forsaken me?" So we see here even Jesus questions the Lord. And in this moment, it wasn't that God didn't fully approve of what he was doing. It wasn't, that in any of the ways we would think that forsake means. It is in that moment, Jesus has taken on the full wrath of sin for us. If we look over in 2 Corinthians, let me turn there real quick. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 21, Paul says, "He made him who knew no sin to be sin on our behalf, so that we might become the righteousness of God in him." So Jesus knew no sin, but in this moment, he is taking on all sin. He is taking on all the wrath that God has, all the hatred that God has for sin. And not only that, but in that moment, he is quoting Psalm 22, verse 1, which if you read the rest of that psalm, it has many prophecies about that day, about the day of Jesus' crucifixion, and many correlations there. But it's another way that Jesus is showing, I am fulfilling these prophecies. So it's another way of, through questions, then pointing back to how God makes everything good. So I just wanted to share that with you today. Don't be afraid to ask questions, but also remember that God keeps his promises and fulfills his prophecies. Just another side note, if you have questions, there's a website called gotquestions.org, which is an excellent resource for biblical questions. Remember, it was written by men and women, so it's not scripture, but it always points back to scripture, so you can go and see where they got those answers. So that's just another little extra tidbit. I hope that the Lord has spoken to you through this. If he has, please like it, share it with others, share in the comments how it's what it meant to you and how the Lord is answering questions and keeping his promises to you. I love you all, and I hope to see you soon.